Preparing for non-farm payrolls. Hi, it's Charlie giving you Wednesday's video. So this is 2 days early, but I don't have the time on Fridays to record a video because I'm busy in our trading room. So um, let's have a look at the dollar going into non-farm payrolls. So what we tend to find is that the dollar moves a lot on non-farm payrolls and on some of these events. The stock markets don't always, they'll have a wiggle around, but don't in relative terms, you won't see that volatility a lot of the time as much as where you see it in the dollar. So I'm recording this on Wednesday afternoon at 10 to 4, just to give you some perspective as to what was going on the prices here. So I've got a dollar index here, just a daily chart. So although it's coming off at the moment, this is still a range that it's currently in. I don't know where it's going to be by obviously Friday lunchtime, but so that's still a consideration that the dollar index has had a good run up, and it's still there or thereabouts as far as this could just be it backing off and then it turns right way back up and goes back for a march higher again. So that's still there's still scope there. But let's talk specifically about Friday and how I'm looking to plan going into Friday. So the first thing to note on this dollar index is this. I put on a trend line below these lows that I did with our traders earlier in the week. So when I see a trend line which is relatively steep, then there's always that possibility of a break coming when it's a relatively steep trend line. So and that's what I felt that was there on that, especially with multiple touches of it as well. People talk about multiple touches of trend line. If the trend line's really not steep, then yeah, it can do loads of tests. But multiple touches of a steeper trend line, then it's less likely it's going to hold a support for as long. But anyway, so we've got a bit of a break here. So what does this overall mean? Well, what we're now going to do is I'm not going to trade the dollar index itself. So what I'll be looking to do is trade that euro dollar. So what we're seeing, it almost in reverse. The euro dollar and the dollar index are very often an inverse of one another. So if I turn this invert this euro dollar, for example, and if I change the colors of the bars around, so if I just quickly do that, then you'll see that that euro dollar does look very similar now to that dollar index we were just looking at. And all I've done is turned it upside down, inverted my chart, and look, I can draw that same trend line, look, and look, oh yeah, all looks very, very similar, doesn't it? It's not exact because when the euro came up to here, the dollar index was right up here. So it's been a little bit different of late, and part of that's been down to the weakness in the yen and the dollar appreciating a lot against the yen. But anyway, let's now re-invert this back to how it should be on the euro dollar. So what we're seeing is a euro dollar which is pushing up currently. So I've probably mentioned this in previous analysis that on the monthly chart there's a nice lower trend line here on the monthly chart, which we can see the euro dollar is having a nice bounce from currently off this lower trend line, which is actually overall a triangle pattern on the monthly chart there. Okay, and if I now go back to the daily chart, so we know that we've hit that trend line on my different template there. This is, I've also got this declining channel here. So we've got this declining channel going back. If I drag it back, there you go. You can see those highs back there from May of last year, and then we've got then I've projected. There we go, down to the lows as well. So, and what's actually happening now, which is quite interesting. As we speak, unless this sells off by the close tonight, that we are going to get a successive higher close here. It's looking that way, but it's not. Obviously, this is video I'm recording in the afternoon. But if we were to close like this on Wednesday night, then we've got that confirmed yesterday. So Tuesday's bar was a solid bar, but it hadn't closed through these prior closes. This one will do, if provided we close up here tonight. So what we're seeing is price making the low down here. It's made a high, and it's now making what, a higher low and a higher high, especially if we can get that close there. So unless this thing ends up on a shooting star candlestick tonight, then we're going to get a subsequent close higher. So the near-term story is quite obviously to the upside in the short term here. Now, we've got all sorts of news that the markets are susceptible to at the moment, as we know. So let alone the non-farm payrolls story, we've got other obvious stories going on as well. But technically, let's just keep this to the technicals. Right now, we are the euro dollar has made a low. It's then come up, made another low. It's then broken to a new high. So in a very minute pattern here, it had confirmed a little higher low, I guess, but it's certainly doing it again as we speak. So going into that non-farm payrolls, the surprise move may be, as technically we're starting to turn here, the surprise move may be for a continued weakening of the dollar, because that is the near-term price action at the moment. So do watch out for that. The one thing that I would say could be a catalyst, because by Friday we could be coming back off again, is this low. So if we break down below this low, then all bets are off, and we could be then coming back down to revisit the March lows. So that's the catalyst down there. That's how I'd be looking at that. Otherwise, in this shorter term, any pullbacks could just be that, until proven otherwise. Unless that last low gets taken out down here, any pullbacks could just be that, just a pullback. So that's how I'm approaching this dollar going into non-farm payrolls on Friday. And so unless, of course, we come over. So I'm looking at, okay, pullbacks may just be that, and before price actually continues in this short-term vein here. So that's what I'm looking at going into Friday. There you go. Short technical video today rather than something on mindset. So a little bit of a heads up for how I'm looking at this without me giving too much away on all the specifics of what I will be doing on Friday, whether it's Euro. I will be trading euro, but I am trading other markets at the moment as well. So I'll save that for the members room. But certainly there's a bit of a heads up of a couple of things to consider there going into Friday. Take care. I'll see you on Saturday.